Hello, and this is the Ninja DC joining again for another React discussion for the last episode of Helluva Boss Season 2, the final episode.
Yay!
Yeah. All right. I guess let's quickly go through introductions and go into it. Join me again by random Skype order. Carlos.
Hello there. This is the Gunmetal Gator here. Just telling you all, how do you do? How do you day? This is Sin's honestly the best holiday, considering people's views on religion and whatnot. This idea was such a wonderful one that this Vivziepop created on this day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then next up, second.
Hi there, this is the Second Opinion, and from a critic first and a fan second, Merry Festivus Aquanaconza Christmas Ka!
Hey!
Holidays!
Happy holidays!
Holidays.
Happy holidays!
Holidays. All right, and then next up, Wolfgang.
Hello, everyone. It is Strawberry_Wolfgang here, and honestly, I do not know how this fucking happened, but this topped Mastermind as my favorite episode of the series. Like, genuinely, there's so much I love about it. I also have come with two messages. One, Charlotte still hates Stolas and wants everyone to know that, so keep that in mind. And Icy Purple has never seen the Betrayers before. They're my online older brother, so I am eventually going to get them to watch it. Also, happy Sinsmas, happy holidays, happy whatever you celebrate. I'm an atheist, so I celebrate Christmas, but without the religion. So it's really silly. I guess I just celebrate. Actually, Mass is also religious. I just celebrate Christmas, but in an atheistic way, and I think it's really fun. Back to you.
All right, and then next up, Jenn.
And so we're offering this simple phrase, from demons all the way to hell. Though it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Sinsmas to you. Hello! Hello, I may be first, I may be last, I may be trying to sing, but I am all first and all.
The people who actually can, of course.
It feels very weird in retrospect.
I am first and always, Jen. There you go.
It feels very weird in retrospect that Christmas was like as a recording yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But seasonal Sinmas, everybody!
Woohoo! I'm still wearing my Christmas sweater. It has a little gator with a Santa hat, actually.
And by the way,
I
saw that on Facebook. It is so cute. It is so cute.
Yeah, Jen summarized it very well. It was a nice.
It's so bloody cute. I love it.
I know. I don't want to get anything traditional. I wanted to get something a little abnormal because that's just how I feel. Abnormally cute.
Well, it's adorable. It is adorable.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So, yeah. Can we talk about how this episode just recontextualized all the building blocks of a boss all the way to actually making an actually good, succinct finale episode that feels like there's no flaws, everything feels properly built up. Maybe except for maybe like Luna's friend's parts. It's like that's probably like a bit of a background detail that could be fixed with another short, but honestly, it just feels like everything is starting to work so seamlessly and so properly.
Yeah. Honestly, my favorite episode of the series. Like, I have so much that I love about it. I also have an issue. My only issue with Stolas in this episode is actually kind of funny. It's in the breakdown, where I feel like Stolas can never have both Octavia and Blitz. He needs to only have one, and he always fucks over the other one. No matter what. He left Octavia for Blitz, and then when he went on his rant, he basically said in a complicated way, fuck Blitz, he doesn't matter, I'm going to see my daughter. And was literal, so really, he even seemed to get like pissed off at Blitz when he was going in through that rant. So it seems like he can never have. In fact, even at the end of the episode, he was looking up. He wasn't looking at Blitz. He was looking up into the stars. So he can never have both. He always needs to have either Octavia or Blitz. So my only problem with him in this episode was it seems like first he threw Octavia under the bus, and then he threw Blitz under the bus in his rant, and then took him away from the bus at the end of the episode, but still showed that he's depressed and slightly feels like he made the wrong decision from him looking up at the stars. So particularly the stars remind him of Octavia. So I think that he can just never have both. He has to have only one, and and no matter what decision he makes, he's going to have a problem because he can never get both. So he's never going to be satisfied. So I think that the only time he's ever going to be satisfied is when he has both.
Why can't he have both though?
I don't understand. It's going to be a never-ending cycle of Stolas saying stupid stuff until he finally gets both.
He needs
to
finally figure it out. That maybe he can have both.
Yeah.
And excellent, and excellent observation there, Wolfie.
I feel like the only way for him to have both is actually really abandoning everything that built up his life so far. Like, even though he's currently living the squalor life right now, it's like I feel like maybe like in 100 years or sooner, like in the series, for like in the future seasons, I'm just thinking he's gonna have to either abandon the rich life, either abandon his relationship with Blitz upon realizing like this is not gonna last like 100 years, basically, if he actually thinks about the future and thinking like it might not be worth it anymore. Or he's just gonna forget himself and just be like, okay, you know what? As soon as like 100 years is up, I might try to reconnect with her and just abandon all my relationships and just go on a self-destructive rage, just like what Blitz used to do. So it's just really is this thing of like a lot of stuff of like having power and such feels like it's like the big kryptonite for Stolas.
Right.
And I really feel like it makes a really good point of like what the Vivziepop is really trying to illustrate here with this plot is like Stolas was not appreciating like the little moments. He still isn't even like appreciating like the little moments even after they happen, because he's still focused on what's lacking, what's from the past that he misses dearly.
Exactly. When he's dancing with Blitz, he starts looking up at the stars instead of at Blitz.
Right. And even when Blitz is hugging him and such, I mean, he's showing genuine emotion there. And Stolas in the past has always kind of begged for it in a way from Blitz to be kind of genuine with him. And
now that he has it, he seems depressed.
Right. Exactly. And now that he's getting it,
he has what he wants, and now he doesn't like it. Exactly.
It's exactly what you said, and that was a beautiful observation there, Wolfie.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And Stolas is a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
And that breakdown he had, that proves it. Stolas is a spoiled brat. He was born into privilege, and now everything is coming down because of this one decision he made. He just summed it up so perfectly when he said he fucked everything up for these fantasies. And as I said before, and I'm going to say it here in the recording, Stolas and I noticed this just now, Stolas never had any consequences. And that's what happens when you are a rich little kid. When you're a rich little kid and all you've had is daddy and mommy's power and money and privilege to do whatever you want, and then you mess up so much that all that is taken away from you. He is getting a stone cold dose of reality here, and he has never had any consequences up until now, and ironically, as painful as it is, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's so satisfying It's
It
so
most
satisfying.
certainly is. I hated
Even
him
though
in Apology Tour so much.
Right,
He
even though
felt like he was
Stolas-
just mistreating Blitz so
Right.
fucking much that he
And
deserves this.
And he kind of was. And he
Well, the
kind of
thing
was.
is,
He kind of was.
you
But
say
also,
you bring up like he had no consequence, he could do whatever he wanted, but he really couldn't. The problem with like Stolas is he had a lot of authority and like he was from a rich family, but he had
Right.
absolutely no agency in his life until like he started
Right.
acting out, and that's where he sort of messed up.
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like basically trying to leave the cog machine, but not really realizing that it's still wanting to be in the cog. He's trapped
Yep.
in the machine mentally. That's why he's
Exactly.
still a brat mentally right now.
He is.
Until
He
he
is still a brat, yeah.
actually grows emotionally mature enough to in order to accept the fact that maybe it's for the best. Maybe I don't want power anymore,
Or maybe he's really got it.
power again.
And maybe it's like that premise of like the story of the rich Nepo baby or whatever that's been cast out of the family, and now they're forced to live on the sticks and everything. This is exactly what Blitz. Well, I'm sorry. This is exactly what Stolas is right now. He's cast out. His power is gone. His prestige is gone. His title, his power, and now the final nail in the coffin. His daughter is gone. So, and yeah, all of that. That's just a stone cold thing of reality there. And also, this is rock bottom for Stolas. I think this is an absolute rock bottom. And also, this almost a really something against Stolas. Not only did I say is he a spoiled brat, but also this really does prove, in a sense, more cracks in the Stolitz kind of pairing thing.
Yeah.
Because this really shows. This is now really showing that Stolas really kind of didn't care about Blitz, because he was saying he fucked everything up. Oh, pardon my French. He messed everything up because of a fantasy. And
Yeah.
and that proves it. That's the fantasy, that he can just do whatever he wants, especially mess around with the imp, with the bad boy imp, and everything's cool.
No,
So,
well, the thing is, the
yeah.
fantasy was the fantasy that was that Blitz loved him at the time, which
Right.
Blitz wasn't emotionally there, and like that was sort of the fantasy. It wasn't like he sort of like basically got drunk on the emotions of it. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And like now that
Or
the
maybe it was
fantasy
the
is
happy
gone,
pills. Or maybe it was all the happy pills.
And
The
then
side,
Actually,
side effect of the happy pills.
Blitz finally love Stolas now, so it annoyed me so much because Blitz is finally giving him what he wants, and now he's acting like this.
And once again, more cracks in the Stolitz pairing.
Which is
the thing,
toxic
you
as
say
hell.
cracks,
Yes,
you say
absolutely.
cracks. Like this episode is very clearly like we know this is how the series is going to end. Like they are going to be like it's not even subtle.
They are
Like,
going to
that's
be
how-
end game, but it doesn't mean that I can't complain about it.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
If they actually end up with like actually breaking up on amicable terms, alerting a little bit, seeing what their true priorities are,
Yeah.
I think that would be like the best ending possible for something based off of Hell.
You know,
Like, think about it.
I would actually applaud a little bit. Normally, I don't applaud breakups, but in this case,
Yeah.
I would actually applaud it and be like, congratulations, Vizzy. You went against the grain because no doubt I can hear it all. Can anyone else hear the choruses of the Stolitz fans?
I
I can too. I can hear the deafening screams of all the Stolitz fans right now.
Oh my gosh.
Which I would be like, shut up!
I feel like we've finally been disillusioned to that fantasy now as audience members. And now it's like even for me, like right now, I'm just like, okay, I don't really have a favorite character amongst the main characters now. This
And
is
I
an
can't
odd-
believe And I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm like, oh wow, I actually kind of don't like Stolas a little bit. I guess I don't like Stolas as much as I thought. Congratulations, he's got flaws.
I mean, I've been on a sort of I've liked Stolas more lately. He's been less insufferable, but I do still have my complaints.
at least, okay. At least these are flaws, and I'm like, you know what? These are actually flaws that can I live with them? But then again, I'm like, eh. But at the same time, thank goodness he's not simping for Blitz at this point.
Yeah.
He's kind of cooled down the simping for Blitz.
No, we finally left the honeymoon phase at long last.
Right. Now it's the cold hard reality. It, like I said, and I said it before, I'll say it again. This is Stolas's rock bottom here.
Yeah.
He's officially hit rock bottom.
Well, the thing you say is like what happens when you hit rock bottom, there's nothing go but up.
That's true.
And now I don't think it'll be that straightforward of an answer because I feel like I have no idea how many seasons this is supposed to have. Like, because my guess is 4 because like that's sort of like the same number of seasons as like Has Been Hotel is supposed to have is like 4 seasons. So we're going by the same things. I feel like next season will be like basically a big focus of it will be Stolas basically living among the common folk and like he just sort of like so I feel that means will be both like I wouldn't be surprised if like basically Stolas and Blitz breaks up at the end of next season or something splits them up.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised either. But but I tell you, if they do, congratulations, Vizzy. Congratulations, Vizzy. Then I'll be. That's a gutsy move. Very gutsy.
But at the end of the 3rd season, just to set up them being end of the 4th season, because there's going to be tensions as they actually develop a actual relationship.
Right. Away from the glitz and glamour that Stolas knew. Away from all that.
Starting it now, but I think it's going to be a kind of a disaster because Blitz seems like he's doing everything he can, but I think Stolas is going to crack.
Well, the thing is, like, they both have their ups and downs there, and, like, I feel like, because, Blitz is doing all he can right now, but he's going to have some sort of relapse when it's just not working. And the thing is, like, that's the thing that sort of sucks with a relationship is sometimes you can do everything and the other person's just not emotionally there, and, like, he's going to be confronted with that.
Oh yeah, Stolas is not going to be. Stolas is not going to be emotionally there for a while. For a while he's going to be struggling and grappling pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be riding the struggle bus for a while.
I'm just having like an epiphany. Like, is season 3 is going to be like the point at which you actually start building up to the title of the show, in which like there might actually be like a season 3. No, not about the hotel. I'm talking about like a Helluva boss.
No, not hotel. Boss? I said boss of hell. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, boss of hell.
Hell of a boss.
Yeah, like basically like understanding like the nitty gritty, and even if you have emotions for someone, you're gonna have to lay them down like in a professional manner to show that like you can't accept any excuses even on the job. If it turns out like Stolas being autopilot like the Presso, or him being absent-minded and one specific circumstance could lead to like a irreparable damage to the company as a whole, like Blitz might have to like make like a hard call as like a boss. That's what I'm trying to insinuate with this.
I think that was already established in the LA episode that like Blitz would not make that, like when it comes to like splitting up his family of a group work, he will not. Like it was sort of shown with the Luna, and I feel, like I don't think he'll do it for the company. Like he might break up or something with Stolas, but it won't be just because it's bad for business. I think it's like remember I said like I feel the next season will be like Stolas living amongst the common folk. Well, I think part of that will also be going to something I feel will be a big focus of the second half of the series is like imps, it's sort of imps in hell. Hell is hell for imps. Like I feel Stolas living among the common folks will sort of help highlight that issue. Where like
Yeah.
What an
the imps,
oligarchy hell is, where you can, the status also equals the worth.
yeah, because like it's even like with like Stolas' punishment, like he's sort of like he's like, oh, you're banished for 100 years, which like sounds like a lot for us, which yeah, it is 100 years is a lot for us, but like
Yeah.
for demons and all that, it's not. And like part of it is just because like he's
a
basically
lifetime anyway.
Yeah, it's like a slap on the wrist, and like besides like I think another reason that is like we hate Stolas right now, but like be frank, Stolas is still probably one of the most competent Gote.
Oh, well, certainly.
Actually,
Stellan and Drillfist do not know what the fuck they're doing. They're gonna mess up somewhere, sometime, someplace.
Oh, I hope so. Oh, I hope so. And when those two get taken down, oh my gosh, that will be just orgasmic, I think.
Because Stolas makes like his impulsive thing, like his thing, like is where he's like his blitz is his weakness and all that, and all that. But like outside that, he does his job competently. Like you even see this with I forget what's the sin of lust.
Asmodeus?
Ozzy,
Yeah, Ozzy.
It was like helping Osmodeus like not fall for that evil contract. Like you can see that Stolas, besides his like flaws, he is actually competent at his job.
Yeah.
Well,
on that note,
you could try it.
I mean, okay, I have a question for everybody here. You said that, like, okay, the narrative we're going with is that, Stolas did this to himself, and now he's facing down the consequences, and he doesn't like it, so you wouldn't even mind seeing another breakup to stick it to the Stolas stands, right?
You mean the Stolitz stands or the Stolas stands?
Either, I suppose.
Okay.
I honestly think that Stolas has gotten better. I do still have his issues, particularly with the breakdown, but I don't really think that he deserves the breakup right now. I think that in the future they should probably set way better boundaries for their relationship, and if it's gonna be endgame, which it probably will be, unfortunately, I at least want them to try to make it healthy. I want them at least try to set boundaries and make their relationship more healthy. I don't think Stolas deserves a breakup right now. He's been way better in the last 2 episodes than he's been in the entire season, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
The thing is, like, I use breakup in air quotes because I just feel like something at the end of season 3 will probably break up, like split them up in some way, like either politics or something that's outside. Essentially, like they might make be like Gator, you mentioned like how like they may have to be forced to make a hell of a decision or something like that, or I forget who
or
like
maybe
basically.
or
But I
thinking,
mean,
sorry.
But like I was like I sort of I think is like might actually break them up is like they might make they both might make a logical decision that sort of breaks them up, even though that's not like the right these might be the logical decision, but that's not the emotionally right decision. I feel that might be what season 3 ends on or something like that. Where like the world splits them up, but like they don't like it's where and then season 4 is where they like we're gonna overcome stuff thing.
Like I feel like season 4, like the big enemy just has to be safe.
Okay, and this is all again because I've been like sitting back to try to listen to where this narrative we're spinning is going for a while. This is all centered around some fundamental failing of Stolas' character that he's been exhibiting and asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, kind of. Okay, so just one question.
Yeah, once again, I think that Stolas is a lot better than he's been.
Wrong?
I think that Stolas is a lot better than he's been for the entire season in the last 2 episodes. He's genuinely a lot more likable of a character, and for me, he is around like 90% redeemed for me, just the 10% being the breakdown and how I feel like he first threw Octavia under the bus and then threw Blitz under the bus during the breakdown. But other than that, he's become a way, way better character. Like I had sheer hatred for him for a long time because of all the other things that happened this season. But now, yeah, funnily enough, I actually started to like Stolas more. Like, I think he's starting to slowly, if he just gets a little bit better at being a good partner for Blitz, then he might become one of my favorites, because he's definitely improved a lot.
Just to
And
sort of
then
go back,
Second Opinion ran into a phone booth and came out with a TG adorning his chest as that guy. Enough of that guy.
but I just
So,
want to
setting aside the abstractions, what did he do? What are Stolas' crimes here?
I think his only crime in the last 2 episodes was
That's the last 2 episodes, and what is this Stolas failing as a character that we're so hyped up on right now?
I think for me personally, it's not telling he should have told Octavia right before she ran over to Stella. I think that as soon as they said he was going to be punished, he should have instantly told Octavia that he was going to see her, so she wouldn't just think that Stella's just straight up left her. I think he should have, as soon as they said, okay, you're going to get punished, he should have yelled out to Octavia saying that he's going to go back for her, so she wouldn't feel so neglected. So just like while she's running over to Stella, she hears that first. I think that Stolas did it too late.
Right.
Okay,
Agreed.
so they think that the fundamental failing of Stolas' character that means that he is by definition selfish is that thinking he is
I
going
don't
to
think
die
that he's by
and
definition
being
selfish.
told he's being stripped of literally everything and being spit on all the way home is one that he didn't try to call Octavia soon enough there, and 2 that knowing that he's trying to talk to her and that the literal only reason he's not is because Stella is like stopping her stopping Octavia from picking up the phone.
Yeah, I honestly don't think he's really selfish. I just think that he could have handled things a little bit better, but I don't think that he's selfish at all. I just think that another thing he should have probably told Octavia was that Stella was trying to keep her from the phone. I think that there was probably multiple times that Stella's called before that Octavia just didn't know. So I think he should have also told her about Stella, because I'm starting to think that Octavia still has the illusion of, well, Stella is terrible, but she cared about Stolas. It seems like from her words, that's what she's insinuating, that what she believes. I think he should have crushed that then and there.
I mean, going after Stella specifically, I don't know if that's what you do when your daughter says that you didn't love mom and you don't love me. I mean, I don't know if Octavia needs to be called out on that in that moment, like, oh, you think I owe your mother anything? But
not really like that, but just saying, hey, I called you multiple times. Is it?
Right.
I called you multiple times this month, not
well,
just
she knows
once.
that is the thing, and I mean, granted, the episode, this is condensed storytelling for you, but I mean, yeah, the episode, I think that it's going out of its way to make a point of the fact it's like it's not that she doesn't know and she doesn't know what that entails, that he's trying so many times to call her. It's that
she just doesn't know about the calls, and I think that's another thing.
She does, though. It has her come walking by Stella's room and take the headphones out of her ear and listen in as she's saying that, like, oh, he's been trying to call her all week. He just won't stop. Isn't that hilarious?
I do think I may have missed that. Yeah, that's...
Oh, yeah, that's
actually,
right.
I think it was a month.
She walked by.
It was a month.
It was a month. She walked by just as Andreas and Stella were both like he's been trying to call for a month.
I do think I missed that. I'm sorry.
Because it doesn't make petty misunderstandings the bottom line. But okay, still wearing my that guy uniform here. I think we've been heading down a lot of paths towards a lot of conclusions that I think at least one fascinating misunderstanding of sorts seems to be fueling here. I think we got hyped up on what to me sounded like a very blame a victim sort of mentality. Like Stolas, his crime, all the way, like his story right now is as a rich victim, and I mean, this episode seems very conscious of the fact that, he did have status over Blitz, even if he was not consciously trying to use it. I mean, it seemed conscious of the fact that we have a lot of reasons not to like rich people who live rich lives, especially right now, and it seems like it's trying to work in some, all right, take that away from Stolitz and, address what would be the case with that. But that seems to be a side note for me, a bit of a, while we're at it with altering his character here, Stolitz interacting with his environment. I mean, I think it's kind of like, I think a lot of this went down the route of, Kaiba, you got sneak attacked by Pegasus, you had your life turned upside down, you had your brother stolen from you, and you could not beat Pegasus in a card game to stop it. Isn't that such a fundamental failing of your character, that you could not beat this terrorist man in a card game? Isn't that a sign of how you don't believe in the heart of the cards enough or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, Stolitz, well, like, at least the crime it seems like he's being in part accused of here is that he lost, is that in a marriage that he was forced to take with someone who abuses him in, relationship with a daughter that requires, at least to handle correctly, if there's even such a thing as a correct way to handle that, an emotional maturity that he was never taught. And heck, the fact of the matter, like Stolitz, I think he wants two things. He wants his daughter, and he wants a relationship with somebody who makes him happy and has a healthy bond with him, which seems to have become Blitz despite Blitz. Other than the fact that he let himself make irresponsible decisions in tangent to that seemed to have come back to bite him, or at least the grimoire decision.
Mm-hmm.
I not seeing all of this, like all this stuff building up. Like he certainly starts screaming all or nothing things in the moment, but after an episode that has been taking him to a point where he's slamming his head against a wall in a very desperate, painful scenario, and nothing has worked. I think it would make sense that he would, start just crying for help in a way, just cursing things that maybe my problem is that I'm not cursing this enough. Maybe it's actually, maybe I didn't think about my daughter enough. Maybe I'm not leaning into martyring myself for Blitz enough. In fact, Blitz, you don't have to feel sorry for me at all. I did this all.
The final part definitely redeemed a lot.
You what?
The final part definitely redeemed himself for me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're witnessing is somebody who has had a lot of toxicity in their life, that raised with it and forced to swallow it, now, quote unquote, working on it, being made to work on it in just about the most painful, difficult way possible. That, his raising a daughter, this was always something that was forced on him and not, something he was raised in a healthy way to be able to do in circumstances that were not healthy. And despite that, he seems to have been the parent, the one of the two, that took that as a personal responsibility that he valued and was, proud to take, or that he considered himself lucky to take, but nevertheless was under circumstances that could not support what he wanted that to be. So, I mean, it seems like that all the perilousness in his relationship with his daughter has been split open, and the fact that, he's, was forced into a relationship like a match being forced against a matchbox that has now caught fire has split open, and now, he was in a relationship that seemed to be the right relationship at the wrong time that, has now, weirdly enough, become the thing that he seems to be making, that seems to be the easiest part to make progress with. But I don't know. I think that where they're going with him is not that, okay, he's about to get to what the real consequences are. I think that it's that he is being made to do the work, that he is being made to face the demons that he never asked for under just about the most difficult and strenuous circumstances possible, because that's good drama, and because, sometimes when, let's face it, a lot of people are born into toxic circumstances, sometimes the working on them really is at the point where they've blown up in your face because they were always going to do that, and because now you really have no choice but to work on them.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Blitz is only just starting to get the hang of putting others first, I think he and Stolitz, for that matter, are likely to come into a lot of roadblocks of their own personal issues and their own baggage. But, I think we're in the working on it point of the relationship, not the, you have also forgotten this non-negotiable landmine. I think we did that already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, the fact that this episode could bring up so much stuff like into our heads like this, to be able to get it so vividly, it's like, oh, it feels so good to analyze something like this with such depth once more.
Yeah.
But just spoiled by like any future stuff in like some sort of manga or comics later on. It's like they could choose whatever direction they can go with like this material. It's not like something set in stone. They might have some promises for like what sort of direction, but like it's why even though we might have like our hateable moments with this show at times, like this just feels right to keep on watching it.
Yeah. Only ever painful moment I've had with this show was Stolas and Apology Tour, but other than that, it's just gotten better and better.
Agreed.
That's the
I
one
feel
where
also like
inebriated at the party and Blitz is going around apologizing to everybody, and Blitz is like simultaneously caring about him, but being
the way he treated him at the beginning of the episode made me really upset. I still don't know why.
Oh, the conversation between the two.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like we need to discuss the other big thing that this episode, besides Blitz and Stolas' relationship, is Millie's pregnant.
We are going to that plot point for so long. Like, seriously, we did not show any remorse or hint of like just noticing anything or just acknowledging it. Like, that was just how much we were ignoring it.
J-Lover asked me to mention that she did, in fact, call it.
Yeah.
She did.
J-Lover called it.
Jay did it.
As Billy was being sick in the bathroom, J-Lover just said right there, "Oh, she's pregnant." I'm like, wait, what? Oh, that's like courtesy, the throwing up and the being snippy.
Thing is, like, I'm not surprised about this at all either, because I suspected this plot point would pop up at some point, just because like they are the good couple of the show.
True.
That are very loving of each other. So it's like, a pregnancy thing would probably pop up at some point.
And it's now just like, it's basically, since it's like Millie's first time, you come to like the only thing of conflict you could easily make out of this is like what they're insinuating might be a case of one might not feel like they want to go through with the pregnancy, but at the same time, maybe not even acknowledging saying it yet to the partner yet. But like once the truth does come out, it might be a difference of opinion about what to do with this matter.
Yeah.
That's just
I already
all I
sort of
feel
called
about
it earlier in the episode that she was acting weird, and then I saw, that
I saw all I had to see was, actually, I confess, Twitter spoiled it. Just one scene for me. I actually ran away from it for a second, but then someone said,
Yeah, spoilers are all over this episode.
I know. All I saw was a screenshot of Millie throwing up, and someone was like, "Oh, what does this mean? What does this mean?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" Whatever.
No.
And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Oh shit! Spoiler! Ah! Oh my god!
And then
So
she
I
threw
was
up.
like, moved on. So I moved away. I was like, spoilers! No, I didn't say anything. So, and then afterwards, the throw up, I'm like, wait a minute. I remember that screen. I remember that screenshot. And then all of a sudden, the fact when she starts like yelling at
Yelling at Moxie.
yelling at Moxie, I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden she went to the bathroom and then all of a sudden like, huh? Really? And then the pregnancy test was like, freaking confirmed.
Yep. I know. I also thought it was so cool that Sally Mae was in this episode because I've actually gotten likes from her voice actor.
Like, she didn't have to say the words. She didn't even have to say the words. Oh, this is another example of show don't tell.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to collect like examples of like show don't tell, and this did it. It did it absolutely perfectly. A great exercise of show don't tell. If anybody wants like, what do I mean by show don't tell? Show them that scene with what Millie does and such, and how many pregnant women or those who have been in the past will be like, yeah, that happened to me, I think.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah,
No.
I remember, because the mood swings, the sickness.
Now, here's like the big debate I've seen on Twitter and all of that is, will they go with a Millie like being like a mother plotline, or they go with a Millie gets an abortion plotline?
There's also something in the comments that, oh, Millie cheated.
Some people said that,
Some
but
people
yeah.
said that
Which is
Millie cheated. That Millie cheated, and that's when I have to like turn. That's when I you know what? That's what I try
Gotta
to do.
go.
Like,
My soap opera's on.
I turned to the be like,
Also,
yeah,
novellas, and maybe novellas if you're Cuban like me.
No. To which I would say that like, nah, Millie cheated. To which I grab their throat and be like, you watch your tongue, sir.
I saw it all over Twitter, man. Someone reposted the Stolas clip with people saying, "Oh yeah, Millie cheated." It was like, "How about you shut the fuck up?"
That's it. That's the better response. Be like, how about you shut the fuck up? That's
exactly. They played like the Stolas clip where it's just like people were just like, "Did Millie cheat?" And they were just like, "How about you shut the fuck up?"
That's the best.
Yeah.
Also,
I forgot.
speaking of that scene, I also love that scene. Speaking of that scene, this also tickles me a little bit. The fact that they had they had that wife in there, and she's like, kill my husband because he's gay, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're in hell and you're requesting this.
Yeah.
No, you definitely become aware of the fact that
To which
this
I
ex-husband
did
is probably
this.
not the good guy in this.
Yeah.
To
And
which
she's
I
Become very aware that she is not the one in the right here.
Yeah, I had to go back
afterwards
too.
I
They
realized
slipped
that.
this in very subtly, but they also made her homophobic. They had her say that
Yep.
she does not want her ex-husband spreading that sinful lifestyle to her
Oh my god.
daughters or whatever it was.
But I kept saying, but I kept grinning like Grinch like, and I'm like, madam, and I'm like,
I've dealt with
madam,
homophobic Christians before.
and I'm like, madam, you're in hell, and you're. Does this look like heaven to you, madam? but I kept, but in the back of my mind, I was like grinning like Grinch like, and I'm like,
Me too. I was like, you're in hell, bitch. This is what you deserve.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
to
well,
myself
the
like,
fact that
this
she's
girl
still
don't know where
saying
she
that
is.
while talking about how she should be reading better porn and how, yeah, lots of other kind of gross. I mean, people who are homophobes. I mean, you don't have to look that hard before you find some who are that hypocritical. It just, hatred does not need a rationale so much as it needs a fuel source.
I feel like
Oh my
I feel
God,
like
it
it's
was
just envy. I feel like it's just envy. Like,
It isn't.
or like,
It's definitely envy.
yeah,
Definitely.
even though she doesn't look sea-like, it's like, yeah, it's clear why you're here. It's like you probably felt unfulfilled.
But
Even if
also,
you knew
but
your
also it's,
husband was
but also
really
the payoff, but also the ultimate payoff when she gets thrown out the window.
Yeah, that was just like, oh, that's good. It's like the power scales levels. It's like, yeah,
I
that
love it.
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
The when she gets thrown out
I've
the
had to
window, I
deal-
love it.
I've
Love
had to
it.
deal with bitches like that lady. That was so satisfying, man.
That was so a Karen.
Speaking of satisfying,
That was so a Karen, I think.
Yeah.
speaking of satisfying, can we say like Stolas beating down is like
Yeah!
Beating down a drill bit.
Yeah, no, that's another
Yes!
point where
Oh my
I
God,
respect
yes!
Helluva Boss on the plot beats here. Like, it does not feel the need. I mean, obviously, it knows it has to slow burn some things, or it has to withhold the satisfaction on some things.
I love that beatdown though.
Like,
Yes.
yes, it's able to recognize when other things do not need to be withheld. For example, just because Stolitz is going to lose this fight or cannot actually win it on its own does not
Doesn't mean he can't beat the shit out of him.
with a good 15, 20 seconds of exactly what we want to see in great graphic detail.
No music, just graphic detail and the sounds of him getting beat the fuck up. It is so
Oh my God,
satisfying.
it
Oh my
was
god,
so wonderful.
it was like full on fury. Like, oh my god, it was like vindication. It's like,
Oh, so
Yeah.
wonderful. So
Oh.
wonderful.
oh, that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. Violence, actual retribution, actual revenge.
The revenge.
Okay.
Oh, but that's
I
gonna
gotta-
make it even
this
better.
guy.
But then
I
again,
gotta mention. Oh, sorry.
but then again, it's if with the first off, ice dragons. I love it. The scale of the animations, the movement of the animation that was done with Octavia's song, but also the fight with in the comments they're already calling him Andy. Fine, Andreas or Andrea or Andy.
Andre.
Andre. He's Andre.
Andre.
He's Andre.
Andre.
That's
No,
ice
Andre,
guy.
Andre, you.
No exotic about this. This is Andre. This is the
Andre. He's
ghetto.
the-
It's the
He's
ghetto.
the guy he's the guy working at the gas station next to my
Right.
house.
He's Andre.
Andre working the front desk.
I want fan art of that. I want fan art of that, please.
I will draw that.
Yay. But
I have
also the thing is with the beat, with the with all the scale of the animation and the build up, and also yes, we all loved it when Stolas was like beating him down and everything. Considering the stance of it, I thought this was just a warm up and everything. I'm like, if that's the warm up, but this is what I'm hoping for. I hope that if there is a redemption thing for Stolas, please build on that.
Yeah. Oh, he's already gotten mostly redeemed for me. Also, sorry if I made some stupid points. I was trying my best.
But,
Also, I want to be able to be like
implied
ripping the
that. I
walls.
mean, unfortunately, I have a history of this group of, just going about this as the character of Second Opinion would.
Oh, no worries at all. You made some really good points. I was just saying that mine that I just got a little bit confused with a couple things.
Okay. I want to make a mention.
Points need to be declared stupid here, but all right, go ahead, Gator.
I was trying to say, like, I was spoiled on this episode because of Pharaoh Luna. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
bored of that
Hellbound.
too.
like because at first the spoiler came from an unlikely source. I'm just only saying it. It was during like a D&D group. Someone decided to post it in a not safe for work chat, and it was like, huh, where are these pictures coming from? And then someone posted like an actual picture of a screenshot. I'm like, no!
Oh
I thought it was a theme.
Of course it's an NSFW chat. The first photo I ever saw of Helluva Boss was NSFW of Luna.
Oh, brother. Oh.
I saw it when I was like 12 too.
It wasn't safe. I was just.
Furries.
Dang it.
Hey, furries.
I've seen more than you know.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm gonna be honest here when I say this about Luna, about like this character development here or ability showcase. Does this mean like any Hellborn literally has a monster form, except possibly imps?
What's it again?
I'm saying, like, does any Hellborn have this ability of a monster form besides possibly imps? Because I feel like that's like the insinuation with this finale here.
It's interesting if they want to say that Hellborns can transform, except maybe not imps. Like, come to think of it, well, yeah, we have like bosses and we have imps, and I don't know if there's an in between that besides people sent to hell and hellhounds, I guess. Like
No. The thing is, sinners are actually higher up than imps and hellhounds.
Are they though?
Yes.
Because I mean, sinners, this is a punishment. Imps are just living here, and I mean, yeah, it's hell, and they don't have even any money or power to enjoy. But it's not expressly supposed to be punishing them until they get killed again.
Well, the thing is, like, sinners have this more power, and like they can't really be killed outside of like angelic cleansings. So I think from going from memory, because they actually do have like a chart of power. Basically, it goes. Let me see.
Just look up the specific YouTuber.
What's like the? I don't want to say Satan. What's his ex? The other name for it.
It's like the hierarchy of hell chart for how.
So they're like, what's Luther? Not Luther.
Lucifer.
Lucifer. I was like, I couldn't get stuck on. It goes Lucifer, and then like his daughter and his wife are below that, and then it goes the 7 deadly sins, and like and the highest one is Satan on there, and then it goes Agote, and then it goes like sinners with the whatever the term is, like the hell boss sinners are sort of higher than that, but they're technically
overlords. It's overlords.
It goes like overlords, then regular sinners, but like they're sort of the same thing.
Wait. No. You forgot about the Ascarisha. Ascarisha should be.
I already mentioned the Gote. The Asgote.
Okay.
I mean, like, I can understand how Alistair, for example, has more power than a lot of imps, but there's also, like, parody of Jason who has no cognizance besides looking at stuff and wanting to stab it until somebody puts him in his place, or cannibal people who
Cannibal Town.
I don't know, are kind of like one track, one concerned people who don't really do anything outside of that, like
But to summarize that though is that though at the bottom is like regular imps and hellhounds, and like above them is like some of the other hell creatures, which are just sort of, they're technically the same like hell beings, but like imps and hellhounds are always sort of like treated as the lowest sort of thing. Like hellhounds are sort of like the bouncers, and the imps are just like the butlers. Usually, like that's how they're treated in hell society. So like I forget where the loan sharks and the
I guess it's like other hellborns, like along with the succubi.
Yeah, succubi, like they're technically all hellborn, but like their imps and hellhounds are like the lowest tier. It's like it's like technically we're all, it's the same thing with like sinners and like overlords. Like, well, technically overlord is just a sinner that's a strong, but there's definitely hierarchy there.
I know it was like, and like I'm just having like a brain blast moment right now. It's like, what if the series finale is like Blitz suddenly unlocking a power that never has been given to any imp and getting a monster form? That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's all I'm thinking
That's
right
so
now.
cool. That would be so cool.
It would be the Helluva boss moment. It would be the title drop moment. You would have that. It would be perfect.
I think the way it's going so far, I think it's less that they have a hell form and more like they just don't use magic, or besides like maybe using magical objects, but they don't have magic themselves. That's sort of like how hounds have this shape shifting form, and then whatever those
human disguise.
poltergeists or whatever they're called.
You're talking about the envy eel people.
Yeah, the envy
Oh, yeah.
ones you could also like possess them.
Poltergeist.
Like they have like magic power. Like so that's why I think like the other Hellborn are sort of like ranked higher because they can use some magic of some kind. Why imps are don't show any sort of magic at all. Then hellhounds are just more like brute force magic.
Yeah. Like even though they have more magic than imps, it's the case that they're literally more animalistic. Like they're viewed more as animals than they are people.
Yeah, sort of like the bouncers and just sort of like guard dogs. Like that's why there's sort of tree lore, and like it doesn't help that they have pounds.
But yeah, that's like, oh my god, this is like interesting to like come up with like this theory that probably would come true, and probably everyone else has figured out like this idea. Like since watching the finale here, it's like, ooh, like the idea of like seeing more monstrous forms of like all these other characters that we've seen now. It's like, like it's not just Stolas or any of the higher up beings. It's like it could be anyone else. Like if like you get them angry enough.
Ooh, yeah.
I just realized something though, being as this is the season finale and we're looking back at season 2 now. Have the last 7 episodes all ended up in my favorites list?
Have they?
The second half of this season has been significantly stronger than the first half.
I mean, that's all the way back to the one where Blitz and Fizz are captured and then they reconcile. And even the first half of season 1 still had I don't consider any episode bad, and the first half still has Moxie's dad, which is still a serious contender for my favorite episode of all here.
I think that was like the one really highlight episode of the first half of the season was like the one with his dad introduced.
But that a lot of people liked Octavia flees to the real world and tracking her down. A lot of people liked that too, which I thought it was good, not great myself. But yeah, that's kind of like, even at its worst, that's kind of this whole season. And yeah, the second half here has been really, really good.
Yeah.
I think a big issue with the first half is like it felt like a lot of things were middling, where like nothing was progressing for a while. It was just sort of like it's basically sort of filler in tone, besides like the one where Moxie's dad was introduced, because that introduced background. He became a recurring character in Threat. But a lot of the episode before that was just sort of like not a lot of progress, and then the second half hit, and like every single episode didn't have like character development or like adding depth to characters or like progressing the main storyline. It really went into high gear like the second half of the season.
Honestly, even at the time, I feel like you had to have it a bit of a here we are now, entertain us sort of an attitude to say that there was like no stuff of significance in the first half. I would argue that a lot of stuff it was laying out was clearly something that it wanted us to know for a reason. Like, I mean, I feel like, telling us about Stolas' childhood, like what it's like to be Stolas forever, and how, one of the reasons that Blitz ties into that. I mean, I feel like you could safely assume there was a reason it wanted you to know that. And Octavia laying out a lot of her feelings about her dad and how, she just because Stolitz loves her doesn't necessarily mean it's good enough that, how she has to live under this extremely toxic relationship with her parents. That is something that seriously concerns a main and long-running character here. What other random thing? What's Western Energy that?
Western Energy
was
Striker.
Kidnap Blitz, and heck, that came back sooner rather than later. I mean, a lot of that.
You mean kidnapping
techniques are you lay out things that matter to the character because you're then going to take those things somewhere, and now pretty much all of that has been vindicated. And I mean, granted, like DC's point about it feeling like we were in second gear, that's at least a reaction I could understand people having, but I'm getting like a little fired up to debate this because Helluva Boss is one of the most heavily debated shows right now. A whole hate following wants to explain how it's not telling its story very well or how it's not focusing on the correct thing, and no two of those people agree on what the correct thing is. But I mean, I think, looking back at how strong the past, second half, the past 2/3 almost, closer to half of that. The point being, look at how strong it's been and how it demonstrably improves on storytelling tropes that are so often, placeholdered over what should be more detailed storytelling. Like, heck, this week's example alone, how a lesser story would have Stella successfully hide from Octavia that Stolitz is trying very, very hard to contact her and using that to posit herself as the good guy in this, whereas Helluva Boss makes a point of the fact that, no, Octavia knows that. It's not that it needs the characters to misunderstand each other to be able to convince us there's any drama here, to be able to write this like there's any drama here. It's that there is drama here, and it's willing to explore that and talk about that and have these characters talk to each other about what it does to their feelings for one another and how those are, not something you can just iron out over the course of a single conversation. I mean, that's, cold, hard, demonstrable success against, I thought I wanted this to be a story about doing the job of assassinating humans more. I wanted it to be more about the stuff that was supposed to come back, like the cherubs and the truth seekers, which does, but I said I wanted it to come back earlier, so it doesn't count. Like, I mean, honestly, season 1, I mean, I had favorite episodes from there, but a lot of them came with major caveats, like how Lululand is one of the favorites, despite how not funny, unpleasant, just plain unpleasant Lululand itself is. Like, season 1, looking back, I think it's pretty much just Truth Seekers, aka the Dork's big debut, and Ozzy's with its emotional, like, quiet burn of pure sadness. Those are pretty much the two, I think, that are holding the line. Otherwise, I think this is, almost a clean knockout in favor of season 2. I think, like, pretty much a steamroll win for how much they leveled up.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree to that. Like, the 2 finale episodes before we even heard of the missing 8th episode, those felt like actual quality episodes. I feel like if they were adapted, like, say, through the Amazon model, those would have been like 2 like important early episodes for like setup. But then afterwards, it's just like, we need the flashback episode back in season 2, episode 1. Then we get the Octavia drama stuff with Luna starting to show a bit more emotion, but then that sort of kind of got backtracked because of like the whole kicking of Blitz and like in the cock there. And then episode 3.
I think that was like Helluva Boss humor that, like, they're gonna go all the way to not only does Luna still hold Blitz in an arm, like she flipping I can't talk today, flipping kicks on the nads, but but then smiles afterwards like, okay, no, I am glad that my dad is trying, even if I'm not ready for that yet. Or I don't feel like he's earned that yet, but I'm sorry, continue.
Thanks, man. Episode 3 for this was very important for Millie and Moxie to see a little bit about their background in terms of sexual encounters. And then seeing Moxie's father, which, yeah, that's a huge trauma dump of like, yeah, this is not the main character's trauma, but this is still like the type of people that Blitz did attract. People with similar backgrounds, like of like abusive father figures and such, and trying to help them like get through that by trying to be a more positive model, but it's been more negative on like Moxie's end. But he's trying to see like the good, and they're trying to be more amicable by like meeting each other evenly through truth seekers and such in this episode. And then episode 4 was basically the inciting incident for the trial with like Stryker basically set out to assassinate like Stolas, and then Stolas realizing like Blitz didn't actually come to like save me, and I've been texting him, and my fantasies are now just starting to be unraveled here as I lay here in a hospital bed. It's like, yeah, like that's when the illusion starts to wear off, but he still is gripping onto that illusion for as much as possible. Then we have an intermission period in which that intermission period is probably going to be expanded upon, probably like in season 3, to be sort of like the proto finale for the entire series, with like Fizzy and Ozzy's dilemma with Mammon and such, and Fizzy basically becoming friends with Blitz again, and it's like really great for them and such. It's like fantastic musical moment and such, and Fizz automatically becomes everyone's favorite new character. Well, character in the sense of like he's no longer antagonizing, he's really funny, he's really great, and so it's just all around that good stuff. Then going back to like episode 7, after all those sports, it's just like, all right, we got all this stuff going on. We have like Blitz and Looney and like all that. I forget what's episode 7 specifically. Like, what happened in episode 7 for season 2? Before
episode 7, season 2. You mean right after Blitz and Fizz reconcile?
And after the
Mammon's Magnificent Musical.
No, after the Mammon Magnificent finale.
Full Moon.
Wait, really? It really was Full Moon after that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I got my numbers mixed up. 5,
No,
6. Full Moon was 7. I thought Full Moon was 8. Never mind. Okay, then we get to the Full Moon stuff, which leads to the whole breakup, and then Blitz finally starting to step up with like a new tool instead of like using the book anymore. And now we're here. It's just like, it just feels like we went through like an amazing intermission with the Fizzy stuff, and then getting to the heart and soul of this, like once they actually finally decide to focus on Blitz and Stolas, and actually showcasing like the cracks and follies of their relationship and such, their business relationship and their sexual relationship to like such a point. And while it was like very cracky, very like messy, like everything, and it seemed like for people who were looking on, like just watching every episode, it's like you didn't really see like the direct path. We were very like mystified. We were very much surprised. And even though the last episode wasn't really like, didn't get like emotions out of me, it just felt like, okay, we get the consequence. We get the reason why it makes sense for Blitz to like fall back on Stolas, like supporting him and such, for basically saving his life and such. It's like this episode's like, there's now an actual game plan that you can actually see. And I feel like that's the reason why we got so many critics saying like this series is like messy and such. It's like not really coordinated and such. And while it's kind of like hard to like really have like much faith in someone experimentally going through this series like this with Vivziepop, or like how she tends to like write up her plots and such, it still is like something a bit of a bombastic like bomb in the sense of like, you never know what you get. You never know when you suddenly start not liking characters. I feel like after going through these 2 seasons, like Vivziepop as an artist, as a creator, she experiments. She goes through it. She tends to be a bit wordy with her content and such. She has a lot of background information that she can't fit it all inside of her own product, and literally has to go through like streams or backlogs or anything else just to explore everything that she has in her mind. But all in all, I just really like this episode. Like I really do feel like for Helluva Boss, it's a great show. It's not a traditionally like easy show to like critique and such. And I think like I'm just in it for the ride. I can't expect it to be like, oh, we finally get to a groove of like consistently great episodes. It's gonna be a bumpy road, but I feel like it's gonna be worth it in the end. There is a good vision here.
Agreed.
I don't know. I mean, having a writing major, I feel like a lot of Viv is messy and she goes all over the place. It strikes me as akin to saying, oh, well, that animation, the characters, they look so like sloppy, or they change model, or their expressions get all wacky and undisciplined. And like basically, it reminds me of people who, say internet wisdoms without realizing that there is fundamentally no difference between what they're saying and asking for Family Guy stiff and like simplistically always on model, and so just like completely unexpressive animation. Just it's wrong to not be basic is basically what it is. Like the best way I could summarize what I learned as a writing major, and as far as all areas of critique and what you're trying to look for, is, okay, one, what is your story, except your medium, trying to accomplish? So, like, does it have its head and its heart in the right place? And two, how well does it accomplish it? And, as far this story about these, like, very over-the-top yet written to be relatable characters trying to navigate life in hell, which is exotically hell yet deliberately made relatable at the same time. I mean, there's always a narrative emotional through line, and I won't. In fact, I think most of them, I do have critiques about where it didn't always follow that. Always follow well. Like, they're mainly in the first season where I thought things got, like, there were moments it could get tedious. There were moments where I felt like it was pleading its case too much. Like, no, we're not sentimental. Like, we can actually be really harsh and edgy and stuff like that, where that focus took over. But I mean, here we are at the end of season 2, and we have 2 characters as the central focus who have grown a lot, and yet are struggling a lot, and it all feels like, that none of where they've arrived has come without a clear step to get there that feels like what you would go through to do so. And it is leaving you with a lot of suspense, and is leaving us with a lot of other characters who are massive fan favorites because they've kind of filled a type for people to latch onto that they otherwise don't have. Like, we don't have a couple that's as like wholesomely lovable as Millie and Moxie, and yet both well defined and both not annoying for the most part. I have to say, it seems like that we're witnessing some pretty sharp writing, all in all. Like, I mean, maybe not. These comparisons I can never think of until after I've hung up the phone. Like,
Norris.
Maybe if it were, how about my favorite one? If it were a UFC fighter or someone like that, like maybe someone who looks a bit drunken fist in how they're doing that, but who also scores a lot of flawless victories and knockouts.
Yeah.
But I guess we need to sort of wrap up. It's midnight.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Shoot!
Yeah. Any other closing thoughts?
Yeah.
You-
There's a tiny section of Octavia's song that I really related to. So, it's like 5 seconds, but it actually shows what my singing voice actually sounds like when I don't edit it to death. So, it's, when you're gone, I'll be okay. I will be okay, but I'll never be the same. When you're gone, I'll be fine. I'll just grow older and slowly my name.
Lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really relate to that song a lot, especially nowadays, because so much has happened in my life in the last few days that looking back at all the people who have screwed me over for the past 3 years, I've changed so much as a person that those people, even recent people like my ex, don't even fully know me anymore. They just know my name, but there's so much more to me that's happened recently that these people just don't know me anymore. They just know that the name they heard, either my legal name or my chosen name, but they don't know how many amazing things have happened to me or how different of a person I am.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just say that some don't deserve the awesomeness that is you. Think of that.
Oh, thank you.
You are worth it, Wolfie.
Thank you.
Know your worth.
Yeah.
Know your worth and charge appropriately.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I just basically have two last points to bring up. One of which was just like, I'm just now feeling like a bit conflicted right now whether or not if I should like Luna or not as a character as the posting of season 2.
Me too.
Because it's like, okay, we're getting into a bit more likable territory, but it's like I'm not really like feeling like the vibes of like me appreciating her. Like maybe I shouldn't feel like her like as a favorite character. Maybe I should just appreciate her as a character. Because I feel like before it's like when people were like looking for like a character to latch onto, they would think, oh, the wolf character is like the only one that's more interesting in like in this group of imps. But then it's like, oh, she could be most rated and such. It's like,
Yeah.
it took a long while for me to even find some characters I really like, which usually ended up being a lot of like the special guest characters and such, or any of that other stuff. Is just like, it feels like I'm just taking the easy route of like just going for like the likable characters, and it's like maybe I might let myself challenge myself like once season 3 hits to see if whether or not if I could find a new appreciation for these characters, because
Yeah.
even if the writing is messy, there is some amicable like writing choices that they can do for like Luna in order to like make it into a strong, convincing character drive for me to like actually be like, okay, I don't just like her for the design. I actually like her as a character.
Yeah.
And that's really the thing. I feel like that's going to be like a big thing. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was, what's the thing? Yeah, like I'm just like, I could see now why they had to rewrite Stolas so badly, because it would have been like very awkward to be like, if Stolas was like the stock villain character who was just basically like demeaning or controlling over Blitz the entire time, and then to see like what would have happened if it led up to like to a season 2, like it would have just basically been like Blitz doing that to Stolas himself. Like I feel like that's what would have happened then, like in the alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
Mhm.
I genuinely think that, and Pilot Stolas As much as people do not like to admit, Stolas, especially in episode 1, did act more like Pilot Stolas and did exploit Blitz like Pilot Stolas. He just ended up not being an actual full-fledged villain and later got a redemption arc where I believe that he's a lot better written in the last 2 episodes, and he's actually really likable. He's slowly but surely redeeming himself to be in my list of favorite characters because of how good he's been written in the last couple episodes.
I mean, honestly, if the voice actors didn't say like, "Oh, I really like shipping these two," like, and then the creator was like, "Oh, sure, let's do this. Let's rewrite this part from the pilot," and it's like, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't get like this interesting toxic romance story that is like in full display in all of its ugly part. Not fully like done, but this is like the first time you would see something like this in animation like this to such detail. Like, that's the thing I feel like I gotta give credence to Vizzy for this.
All right. Any other closing thoughts?
I got the emotions and that were portrayed in this were just hitting on all the cylinders and such. They hit it out of the park with this season finale.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember, like, what was the last season finale? Was it a apology tour?
It was Ozzy's, and then it was Queen Bee with Luna being at the party, and then suddenly being a lot more excited about the fact that Blitz is her dad when he comes in and steals the show a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually had that same moment, but in DMs with Second, where Second said something I just 100% agreed with, and I was like, yeah, that's my mentor over there.
Yeah. But it seems like it just seems like these season finales are just getting, is it me or do they seem to be getting better and better?
Yeah.
I mean, very obviously, for sure. Yeah.
Like, the episodes are getting better and better. I think Ozzy's and Queen Bee are some of season 1's best work, to the point that I would actually maybe argue they're some of the few that could legit put up a fight against this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to be frank, like, Vivziepop started out just as an amateur, just like hobbyist animation project. But now they've got like contracts as Helluva Boss itself alone has gotten like a massive following success. And then their main original thing, Hazbin Hotel, is like got Amazon picked it up show. So Vivziepop and Spindlehorse are all professional animators now, and they are getting more professional as they get more work. So like the seasons will probably continue to get better. As they learn.
There's a lot of hitting their stride in this. That, like, compared to where a lot of people have had to work their way up, I don't even know if that's like top. I don't even know if that's B tier for someone being seeming quote unquote less qualified as they've gone along. Like, heck, for just even off the top of my head, who they let write some of those My Little Pony episodes and the later seasons of Friendship is Magic. Like, you'd be surprised how short some of those resumes were.
Oh god, we're going back to the critical stuff about the later seasons.
But this was just amazing.
Don't bring me back to season 8. Don't bring me back to season 8. No.
But
Me and Gator are going through some traumatic flashbacks right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No.
But this was just an amazing episode.
But no, it was the fun times. Season 8 was the boring times.
For which series?
All right. But
MLP.
I'd say my final
okay.
thoughts are like Sinsmiss. I'm realizing now, like, I mean, Blitz is stunningly actually kind of wholesome in this episode.
Oh, I love him so much.
Yeah.
Like, he's on an upward arc. I think the last one, there was an aspect of coming to put others first a little more, that like after his soul searching with Stolitz and all that, like I mean, I'm reluctant to call like a self-sacrifice, no, kill me instead, a sign that, or a growth step for just learning to have relationships with people better. But nevertheless, it does seem like Blitz is
I think it
has
was
come
the
down to the point where he's ready to start honestly trying with some level of good sense, or at least, if not good sense, then at least some sense of what to do for a good relationship. So, point being, a lot of these moments with him and Stolitz are actually really sweet, and I can understand how they're having Stolitz like look skyward and just be very aware of the fact that his life is in a really precarious, difficult position, because I mean, it still wants, of course, to tell stories about what they're going to do about that in the days ahead. And I mean, you know, who Blitz and Stolitz, like the toxicity that has formed them, is still probably going to leave some mines for them to have to navigate. But yeah, nevertheless, what they've laid out for them to start from was actually pretty darn sweet. And it's fighting back against the fact that, like, for one, this episode almost felt like 2 episodes, or at very least an episode and an extended epilogue after they go back and celebrate Sinzimus. So, yeah, I mean, despite everything I just said about how Vivziepop is sort of a drunken fist master of storytelling, that's what I mean. I do think this episode has one of those times where the pacing is like, up, you took a step, 0.2 off, or whatever judges in the Olympics take. But yeah, nevertheless, between one of their better fight scenes and a lot of really smart writing, especially with Octavia, who Wolfgang, with your final thoughts turn my attention to, is turning into a pretty compelling character in her own right.
Thank you.
Not even just the characterizations, too, watching her, draw our attention to the fact that she is pretty powerful in her own right and has never attempted to use that until now, and can mess a lot of people up, including Mr. Ice Queen if she wants to. Like, I can see Octavia.
You just gave me an idea of something that just
oh my God.
something that just went through my mind right now when you said what you said about Octavia being powerful. I'm wondering if there's something else about Stella. I mean, she and Andre, she and Andre. I mean, they had a plot to try and, like, get Stolas' power, like, taken from him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Now I'm wondering if they got a plot to take Octavia's too.
Oh.
Well, I think they don't have a plot yet, but I think the idea eventually is going to be like,
they're not going to like
Octavia
the idea of Octavia usurping them.
Right.
Yeah, because they're technically supposed to be just like, it's more like Stolas is banned from his powers for 100 years, but like his authority is sort of handed over to Andre, whatever you want to call him, because of basically as a substitute, because like Octavia is too young, but essentially it's like throughout history, it's like whatever happens when like basically a child ruler gets to the age to start ruling, the people who are guarding their kingdom start accidentally slipping in poison. So
Right.
that I feel will be probably a plot point in season 3, if not probably 3, but if not then 4. But to quickly wrap up before we go off, because
I hope that the more the episode, the feels of the episode sit with me, the more that I actually appreciate the quote, the stripping down of kind of Stolas and kind of making him eat all the humble pie. And
so much humble pie.
Yeah, so much humble pie.
But
I guess
go back to the other.
I hope that there. But yeah, the reconciliations, if there are any reconciliations in the future, I hope they're handled with as much care as this episode. But I'll shut up now. Sorry.
But to go back to the other side of that coin, I was trying to say with second earlier, like I always said, Blitz is really acting more mature and like emotionally available. I feel that was made sense though because they did grass. It was like the double combo of Apology Tour and the Poltergeist episode. I forget what it's actually named.
Ghostfuckers.
Effers.
Is like those episodes sort of like open them up to actually feeling because like basically Apology Tour is him realizing okay his actions have consequences for other people more, and then the Ghost Bleepers, that episode sort of like opened up like that episode and Millie like getting into him sort of opened up the idea that it's okay for him, like he can actually, it's okay for him to let people
how
close.
much that had growth for Blitz on its own too. There, that's a good point.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, like the first one was more about Blitz understanding his actions to others, and then that episode sort of like at him being okay with letting like himself feel like a love himself sort of thing. And it was like that like sort of unlocked the two sides of him to be like a positive force now.
There's also his face is also less scratched out in the photos. A lot of people online noticed that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
But
he's scratching out his face
said,
less in the photos.
I guess where I was going though is like as far as where this one comes down on my favorites list, like it's not in the elite core where Truth Seekers and Moxie's dad, and I think that's it. Like those are my core favorites.
Yay!
Then you have like outside that the top line ones, which there are so many by now. I think I'd have to go back and parse through what are there, and then one more circle out. I think you have the last of the favorites that might nevertheless have a little more drag on them, like Lululand and Harvest Moon Festival from season 1, like those season 1 episodes that were showing the greatness but with something still wrong in it. And I think this one is above those, and I really would have to go back and compare to like the last 6 before it and maybe a couple of others even to see like just like would it win out with all the muscle power of the Octavia stuff and the Ice Dragon stuff and the Blitz and Stolitz stuff, or would the fact that it's cramming that much into this episode not like totally seamlessly creating the drag? I'm not sure, but I mean, it's like I think it would be a good bet that it's top 10 at least. I think that's a safe bet for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay.
With that said, see y'all next time, and probably for some shorts because, yeah, season 3, like they already warned, is going to be quite some time off because it's going to be 15 episodes, so it's the longest yet. But also they want to not do what they did this time and split it up. They wanted to have like a more consistent release when they start releasing them. So
Yay.
probably a good, like it's at best a year, like the shortest, but I would say you can expect a year until the next season. It's probably, I would say, a year to year and a half. So
we'll do stuff in the meantime, huh?
Yep.
yeah, there'll be shorts, and also eventually probably before that Hazmat Hotel season 2.
And movie reacts possibly.
Yep.
That'd be awesome.
Yay!
But yep, I guess see y'all next, well, whenever, whatever. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Merry Christmas! Bye, guys!